friends, this is Zoya Chaudhary and I welcome you all on our YouTube channel Simplified Education. You can join our Telegram channel and Facebook page from the link given below into the description box. As you all know, we are dealing with the topic Research Aptitude. It is useful for UGC NET and SET exam paper 1 unit 2. In this video, we are going to start with the topic that is steps of research. Before that, if you understand my teaching, please subscribe my channel so that you will be get notified with my upcoming videos. And if you like this video, then please like and share with your friends. Here we are going to see steps of research. Any researcher, when it is going to carry the research, there are some kind of steps which we are going to follow. Means there is a particular track or the framework which each researcher has to follow. And here I have given you the 8 steps of research. If you search this topic from any other content, you may find out 5 steps of research, 7 steps of research or even 10 steps of research. But don't get confused. If it is 5 steps of research, then 2 or 3 steps have been condensed into the 1 step, or it is 10 steps of research, then 1 or 2 step is elaborated into 2 or more steps. But all the steps of research, that is framework, is going to remain the same. No change will be there. So first we will see all the 8 steps and then we will discuss it one by one. What is the first step of research? Formulation of the research problem. Second, review of literature. Third, development of the hypothesis. Fourth, forming research design. Fifth, data collection. Then data analysis, finding the conclusion, and last one, that is report writing. Now, the first step is that formulation of the research problem. Means we are going to select our targeted area on which we are going to make our research. To select that target area, first we need to identify our broad area of interest. Means there are various fields available. For example, education or the political or business or the entertainment. So from this, which is going to be our broader area? Suppose I have selected as education is my broad area of interest. Now, the second step is that from that education field, which is going to be my specific problem, that is focusing on the selecting area of an interest. Suppose from the education field, I have selected that how to increase the students' interest from the study. Means students are not paying attention, so how to increase their interest, how to increase their attention into the study. So here I need to specify the age group. When I will say that for example primary, pre-primary, primary, secondary, higher secondary, these are the different age groups available. So when I will specify that age group, that how to increase the students increase for the pre-primary level into the study. So that is going to be my specific area of interest. Means that is going to be my research problem. For example, I am giving you. After that, now I have selected my area of interest. That is not enough for formulation of the research problem. I should understand that problem thoroughly. So first thing is that I have to understand that problem thoroughly. What is the meaning of that problem? How that students are facing the problem in getting the division of attention? What are the things behind it? How we can overcome? So that is the general background of that particular research problem. So I have to understand that problem thoroughly and rephrasing the same into the meaningful terms from that point of view. Means I should be able to formulate that research problem into the proper meaningful terms. Then only it will be the particular research problem and it will be defined research problem, we can say. Means whenever any third person is going to read that title of the research problem, that person should not get confused or he should not be able to draw the another meaning which is possible. So there should be the unique meaning which can be the precise or the specific into the nature. This way we are going to formulate that particular research problem into the meaningful words, and after that we are going to make the broad objective. Means whenever we are going to select any research research problem, we should be known about its broad objectives. Means what is the purpose of doing behind it, what you are going to achieve from that research problem, that is going to called as the broad objective. So here first we are going to select the broader area, then we are going to make the precise research problem selection. After that, understanding that, then rephrasing that problem into the meaningful words, and after that we are going to make the broad objective. This is going to be the first step, that is called as the formulation of research problem. Now the second step of research, that is review of literature. Now which literature we are going to make the review? The literature which is relevant to our research problem. And what is the purpose behind it? To get more and more knowledge about that particular research problem, means which kind of study is being done so far from that research problem, so that it will give us the idea for the further research. Now the procedure of reviewing literature covers the researching existing literature, reviewing it, and developing a theoretical or the conceptual framework. This is very important. Means from reviewing the literature we are going to make the theoretical or the conceptual framework. After that we are going to prove it, that is the later part. But first at initial stage we are going to make some kind of theoretical and conceptual framework with the help of review of literature. And which are the main sources of that? Books and journals are the main sources of the literature. And what is the purpose of doing this? It broadens the knowledge of the researcher about the research problem. Definitely it is going to increase our area of the knowledge, and after that it improves the authenticity of the research. This is very important, that authenticity. How we are going to get the authenticity of the particular research? When we are going to give the references of the particular literature for that particular research, then only that research will get authentified, otherwise no. So with the help of this literature we are going to get the authenticity. And one more important thing is that it reduces the redundancy of the data. Means in simple words we can say duplicacy or the repetition. Suppose whichever research problem we have selected, if that research problem is already solved into the earlier literature, there is no meaning in carry forwarding the same research. So whenever we are going to make the literature review, we will come to know that what kind of study is so far done on the basis of this particular research problem, so as to avoid the duplicacy or the redundancy. So it improves the authenticity also, as well as it reduces the redundancy. So review of literature is very important, and it is the second step we can say. Third step of research, that is development of the hypothesis. What is the hypothesis? It is just a tentative inference made by the researcher. It is not authentic, or it is not the permanent, or it is not justified one. It is just the possibility or the assumptions we can say. A hypothesis is an idea which is suggested as possible explanation for a particular situation or condition which has not been proved. Means it is not tested yet. Initially just we are going to assume it, or we are going to make the prediction that this is going to be my outcome. And with the help of research process we are going to verify whether that judgment is correct or wrong. In other words, it can be termed as educated guess or the assumptions about the same phenomena. Now, what is the use of this hypothesis? Hypothesis provide the direction to the researcher. The hypothesis tells the researcher specifically that what he needs to do and find out in his study. Means with the help of that hypothesis as a reference point of view, the researcher carry out his research in that particular direction, and he gets the idea that what he needs to do and what he wants to find out in his study. That hypothesis, it should be capable of being tested. Means whichever hypothesis we are going to select, it should have the limited scope and it should be having the capacity of being tested. Unnecessary bigger hypothesis we are going to make, then it is going to create the problem. So whenever we are going to select the hypothesis, we should make the overall thinking about the research problem. And so that we are saying that hypothesis should be limited in scope and it should be specific. As we have seen into the case of selection of the research problem, it should be very much specific or the precise. Same way, hypothesis should also be very much specific and it should be limited into the scope. Fourth step of research, that is forming the research design. This research design is going to give the complete idea about the direction of the research. Means how the research is going to start from A point and how it is going to reach up to the Z point. The complete map or the framework or the direction is given by the research design. So that we can say the research design is a blueprint or the structure in which the research is conducted. And research design is the outline of what the researcher will do from writing the objective, means this is the first step, that is formulation of the research problem, then making the hypothesis and its operational implications to find the analysis of the data. Means from selecting the problem of the research to till the last point, that is bibliography, references, everything which is covered into the research design. And why this research design is important, very important, because it depending on the type of research, the structure of the design may vary. Means as we have seen earlier, there are different types of research. So according to the type of research, means for experimental research or basic research or the descriptive or the historical, depending on that type of research, the research design is going to vary little bit. So on the basis of that type of research, we are going to make the complete framework from the research design, and according to that framework only the researcher is going to carry out that research. Hence this research design plays the important role into the carrying out of the research. Hence we can say it is the master plan specifying the methods and the procedure. Means here we are going to make the clarification which methods we are going to use, which procedures we are going to use, means whichever is the hypothesis we are going to make, or the which are the possible tools, variables, everything which we are going to apply into the research, that is going to define into this research design for collecting and analyzing the information needed. Means from which sources we are going to collect the information, by which method we are going to analyze that data, on which basis we are going to make our findings of the research, everything is decided in this research design. So this is one of the important steps of the research. Next, fifth step is the data collection. Till fourth step, we were discussing about what to do and how to do, how we can carry out the process. Now, from this data collection steps onward, we are going to make the actual working of our research. Data is defined as it is the information recorded to represent the fact. Now whichever hypothesis we have done, we are going to test that hypothesis. How we are going to test that hypothesis? With the help of data collection and analysis of the data. So on the basis of source of the data, we are going to have the two types of the data, that is primary data and the secondary data. Now we will see what is the meaning of this. Primary data, in other words, we can say it is the first hand or the original information, or we can say this is the original source of collecting the data. Why this is original source of collecting the data? Because we are going to collect the information from direct sources. Means the researcher himself is going to collect that data. Which are the tools for that? Survey, interviews, experiments, observations, or the questionnaire. Means with the help of all these tools, that researcher himself can go and collect the data. Hence we can say this is the first hand or the original data source. On the contrary side, secondary data, this we can say the second hand information. Why we say the second hand information? Because the data which is required, it is already collected into some another sources, and just we are going to pick it up for our research problem. So which are the tools for that? That is the government publications or the technical and trade journals, public records or the statistical or the historical documents, or the earlier research we can say, or we can say websites. So all these are the places where we are getting already recorded data. Means that data is recorded for any other purpose, and we are using that data for our purpose. That's why we are going to say that this is the second hand information. If we make the comparison, primary data is more reliable as compared to the secondary, but this is more time consuming and this is even complicated process, because that researcher is going to work by himself only. And secondary data, it is easy to carry out because it is already recorded data and just we are going to collect it. So this is even less time consuming. So based on the availability of the data as per our research problem, we are going to collect the data from primary sources or from the secondary sources. And once the data is collected, we are going to make the further analysis of that data. After data collection, there is a sixth step, that is data analysis. Whatever data we have collected, we are going to make the analysis of data for the judgment of the research. Research data analysis is a process used by the researcher for reducing a data to a story and interpreting it to the derived insight. Means whatever data we have collected, we are going to make the analysis of the data. What is the purpose of the analysis? To make the interpretation. Means whatever hypothesis we have made at the initial stage, we are going to test that hypothesis with the analysis of the data. Now that data analysis, we cannot directly jump to the data analysis after the data collection, because whatever data we have collected, it is into the random form. That's why three essential things takes place during the data analysis. First is the organization. Means we are going to organize the data collected, and then we are going to make its summarization and categorization. Means we are going to make its distribution according to the various categories, and we are going to make its proper summarization, and after that we can reach to the conclusion that what kind of analysis we can make from the available data. So the third step is the data analysis, and into that data analysis also there are two types of data analysis. If the data is collected into the qualitative format, then qualitative data analysis will be performed, or if the data is collected into the quantitative format, then the quantitative data analysis will be done. Because qualitative data, it is completely different type, and quantitative data, it is completely different type. This we have already discussed, what is the format of qualitative and quantitative data. So according to that, different methods of data analysis can be carried out for the further interpretation of the research work. Seventh step of research, that is finding and conclusion. This step we can carry out on the basis of data analysis, and this step consists of two important steps, that is hypothesis testing, and second part is the generalization. Means whatever data analysis we have done, first we are going to make the comparison, or first we are going to verify it on the basis of hypothesis, that is called as the hypothesis testing. After analyzing the data, the researcher is in the position to test the hypothesis. Means whatever assumptions the researcher has made into the initial stage, now the concrete evidences are with him, that is on the basis of data analysis. So he is going to make the comparison between that hypothesis and the analyzed data. The hypothesis may be tested through one or more tests depending on the nature and object of the research inquiry. Means there are more than one test available, that is a chi-square test or the t-test or the z-test. So number of tests are available depending on the quality of the data analysis, that is on the basis of qualitative data or the quantitative data. There are various steps available to test the hypothesis. Means it depends on the nature and object of the research inquiry, and hypothesis testing will result either in the acceptance of the hypothesis or the rejecting it. Means whatever data analysis we have done, if it is matching with the hypothesis, then we can say the hypothesis is accepted, or if it is not matching, we will simply reject that hypothesis. So this is the hypothesis testing, we can say. And next part of this, that is generalization and interpretation. Means after making the hypothesis testing, we are going to find out the proper conclusion, and with that conclusion we are going to make the generalization. So the generalization is being done after testing the hypothesis, which is called as the result of the research. Means once we have tested the hypothesis, whether it is confirmed or disconfirmed, on the basis of that confirmation we are going to make the result of the hypothesis, and that is going to be the generalization. And the interesting part is that it may possibly lead to the further research. Means whenever we are going to start with the research, it is assumed that we will end up with this problem, but it is not happening. The one end of the research is going to give rise to the new start for the another research. That's why we have said earlier that it is the cyclic process. It is not the ending one end or another end process. It is the cyclic continuous process. So the finding of one research may possibly lead to the further research. Eighth step of research, that is report writing. This is the last but very important step of the research, that is report writing. Means whatever work of the research is done by the researcher, at the end he is going to express it into the proper wording. Suppose the research process is completely done into the very well manner, but if the researcher is not going to express into the proper wording, then that research will not get justified. So this is very important step. Writing the report is the last but most difficult step of the process, and whichever is the type of research, either it is historical, experimental, descriptive, means whichever is the type of research, there is a common format of the research report. That common format consists of the 9 steps, we can say. The first, that is title page. Means here we are going to write down our name, the title of the research, then which university, then a research guide, everything we are going to mention. Second, that is table of contents. Means in short we can say this is the index page. Here it consists of the 4 chapters, that is introduction, research methodology, research design, and the conclusion. And third is that acknowledgement. Here we are going to make the acknowledgement of everything. Then abstract, then introduction of the research, and here 6th step is main body. Means here whichever table of contents, whichever chapters we have mentioned into the table of contents, we are going to explain all that chapters into the main body. Then conclusions, and then recommendation, and last is the bibliography. So all these 9 steps are there for the common format of the research report. Means whichever research work is done by the researcher, he is going to compile that research work into this 9 step. This all 9 steps of the common format of research report we will study in detail into the next video, that will be into the thesis writing. So this was the introductory part of this report writing. I hope you have studied. This was all about the steps of research. If you have any question, you can ask into the comment box. Thanks for watching this video. Stay with us.